Are you trying to decide when to allow your child to use social media, or perhaps they already have access and you're wondering if it was too soon and what you can do now? Hey amazing parents, it's Dr. Lindsay here with Parenting with Psychology. I'm a psychologist and mom of 4, and today we're going to be talking about whether your child should have access to social media. In the ever-evolving digital age, the question of when and how to introduce our children to social media is one that looms large for many parents. Parents should take a serious look at the pros and cons of social media use in kids before making any decisions. In this episode, I'll provide you with the information necessary to make a decision about whether your child should begin using social media and introduce some valuable tips for easing that transition. Let's start off with the pros of social media use for kids. Number 1, entertainment. How fun is it to share memes with friends? Number 2, exploring interests, from watching dancing videos to art tutorials to fashion tips. Number 3, developing a sense of social connectedness and support, connecting with people who identify with the same beliefs or values, which research has shown to be especially important for kids who identify as LGBTQIA. Number 4, increased connection to school events and local community building opportunities. Number 5, an outlet for creativity and self-expression. And number 6, probably the biggest motivator for allowing your kids to use social media is keeping them in the social norm to minimize the potential for feelings of isolation and rejection. It's that same idea of wanting to fit in on the playground coming into play here, except at this age, it's more hovering over your phone as you walk from class to class, or sitting at a lunch table and barely interacting with the people right next to you because you're all staring at your phones. Do your kids need access to social media to fit in? Not necessarily. Does having access to social media mean that they're less likely to stand out? Probably. Now let's move on to the cons of social media use for kids. First, social media adds pressure on kids. They have to behave well at home and school and excel academically and perform well in all their extracurricular activities. And now they also need to curate interesting and appealing content across different social media platforms. There's only so much that one person can handle before it becomes too much. Second, it adds more drama to their lives. The perceived anonymity on social media leads people to make more negative comments than they would normally say in public. For children and teens whose brains are still developing the critical thinking skills necessary to navigate complex social situations, these risks are magnified. Third, similarly, negative experiences are magnified by the amount of reach social media has. So what would be one bullying comment in a face-to-face interaction can turn into a cascade of cyberbullying that can have an enormous impact on your child's feelings. Fourth, what your child views on social media affects how they value themselves, especially when it comes to appearance. Social media exposure can lead to unrealistic bodily image ideals and potentially result in disordered eating. Fifth, passive social media use, including scrolling through feeds, can make teens feel less connected to others. Sixth, privacy issues. Let's face it, once information is on the internet in any form, you have no control over what happens to it. And most importantly, adolescence is a vulnerable time period when kids are growing and changing and trying to form a sense of self-identity and self-worth. Studies have shown that excessive screen time, especially in teen girls, is related to double the depressive symptoms of moderate social media users. Next, we're going to be covering how to set reasonable boundaries around social media use, and then I'll share with you a key factor in successfully guiding your child through the social media landscape. So stay tuned for that, and in the meantime, be sure to like and subscribe this video, and then comment down below what other questions you have around screen time for kids. Let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll answer your question in the next video. Moving on now to setting boundaries, the first step to responsible use. How do you resolve the disparity between the benefits of social media use and the very significant negative effects of social media use? While some parents choose not to allow social media at all to minimize the inherent risk, research suggests a more moderate approach can be used successfully. Interventions aimed at reducing social media use have led to improvement in how teens feel about themselves in just a few weeks. Notice I said reducing, not eliminating social media use. As with most things in life, the key to social media use is balance and moderation. Limiting screen use specific to social media consumption is critical. Establishing clear boundaries around how much social media use is allowed is an essential first step. You might set a ratio of half of your screen time on social media and half watching programs or playing video games. Or you might set an upper limit of 30 minutes on social media per day. I would highly encourage you to keep the maximum daily allotment of social media to under 1 hour based on the studies showing the positive effects of minimizing exposure to social media. Social media limits and screen time limits in general encourage children to engage in other activities that contribute to their physical and mental well-being. These restrictions aren't about limiting freedom, but rather providing a safe space for exploration and learning. They help to balance the benefits of social media, like connecting with friends and exploring new ideas, with the potential downsides. It's about teaching children to use social media as a tool rather than letting it become a crutch or a source of stress. Now, let's talk about introducing social media in stages. Limiting the number of apps that your child has access to can ease them into the digital world more gently. Allowing 1 or 2 apps is a good starting point. Be sure to choose the apps that their friends are using. In addition, initially allowing your child to view and like other people's posts, but not to write comments or create their own posts, can help them learn the landscape of online interaction without the pressure of contributing or being scrutinized. This staged approach allows them to observe the nuances of online communication and understand the impact of words and actions in a digital context, while helping to shield them from some of the negative effects of social media use. Moving on to engaging in open communication. As parents, our role in our children's digital journey is not to shield them from the digital world entirely, but to equip them with the knowledge and skills to navigate it responsibly. One of the most effective strategies for navigating social media use is maintaining open lines of communication. Regularly ask your child about their experiences online, showing genuine interest rather than judgment. Questions like, "What's something interesting you saw on social media this week?" Or, "Have you had any uncomfortable interactions online?" can provide insights into their digital world and help to guide them more effectively. Use these conversations to educate your child about how they can curate their social media feed. Teach them that the algorithm sends them more content that's similar to what they're viewing. So even if they just hover over a post for a few seconds, the algorithm tracks that behavior. Teach your children to only watch and like posts that bring them joy and train their accounts to be a positive space. Use examples from your own social media about how you expressed interest in one topic and now you see lots of posts in your feed on that same topic. Now, moving beyond the blog, let me tell you about my Screen Time Myths workshop. So most schools are integrating social media literacy into their curriculum, which is great, but there also needs to be instruction and involvement at home. There have been heated political debates as of late about the role of government in regulating social media apps for kids, but ultimately the greatest responsibility for keeping our kids safe on social media falls on us as parents. To further empower parents in this digital age, I offer a free workshop titled Screen Time Myths. This session is designed to debunk common misconceptions about digital media use, providing parents with the facts they need to make informed decisions about their child's online activities. It's an invaluable resource for understanding the real impact of digital media on our children's development and well-being. Get enrolled today at parentingwithpsychology.com/screens with an S. In this video, I actually have a bonus tip, which is how to end screen time battles with your kiddo. Find the answer in the video on your screen and keep up the good work on your amazing parenting journey.